Hey guys, I was asked about the helmet template that I used because they're getting some warping on uniforms. So I'm just going to and I was also asked about basically how to create images without um, ruining the layers that are underneath them. So, like, how do you color a jersey, for example, without ruining the jersey texture underneath? So I'm gonna go through this really quick here. This website here, the Football Idiot, is it's an amazing website. It's honestly kind of almost, I don't want to say abandoned, but it's pretty slow going now. I was on this website since probably 2011 when I first was in college, and it was amazing the stuff that people did on here. You'll even see I've got a bunch of stuff on here too. But if you look through this is a great place to get a template, especially for GIMP, which is a free photo editing software. You can find right here. I'm gonna Control F to find GIMP. So let's see, GIMP right here, uniform templates for GIMP. You can click that, it'll download it, and it'll give you a file or it'll give you a folder that has lots of different files here. So I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but I will, like I said, we'll talk about the helmet first, and we'll talk a little bit about the jersey as well. So I've already got the helmet opened up. It gives you some different stripe types that you can put on your helmet here. Um, you can sort of mix and match them if you want to for unique looks. But this will help because you can see the lines have to be done in a very particular way in order to make it look good on the actual helmet and game. So this template is really going to help you out. And even more helpful is this logo guide right here. If you make this visible, it'll help you to put your logo on there in a way where it won't be too big and it won't cause warping. So I'm just going to make a really quick example here. I'll take one of my logos from my fictional league and I'll just throw it on here really quick. So I'm going to take this logo. I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit. Just drag it right in there, and there's our logo. Then I'm going to resize it till it's roughly about the size of this logo guide. And it can be a little bit bigger. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to scale it so it fits roughly in there. Now I'm going to rotate the logo because this down here is basically where the ear hole will be. So you have to rotate that 90 degrees. And then when you have that done, you can just kind of select the image, Control C to copy it, and then Control V to paste it. And now you'll have another layer with the same thing on it. That same layer, you can flip it, and then just drag it right over. I like to hold in Control when I drag so it doesn't, change. It stays on the same axis as the other logo. So I've got that on there. Since I've got my logos put on, I'm going to get rid of the logo guide. So that way, when I export this, the logo guide won't be visible on the helmet. And just for these stripes here, just for the sake of doing it, make sure that you have this layer, the triple spaced layer selected, because that's the one I have selected. But say I want to we'll just do a single wide stripe because this team only has really blue and white as their colors. So I select single wide, and then I select the stripe on the actual layer. I'm just going to color it white, just like the helmet logo there. And the helmet color, so all of the royal blue on the helmet itself here is on this helmet color layer. You can't just color over the entire thing, because if you color over these pads, basically those are the front and rear bumpers on the helmet. So you need to select the actual color of the helmet there. So in this case, it's royal blue, and then just color over it with whatever color you want. So the white stripe will stay intact, the helmet logos will stay intact, and we're good to go as far as that goes, right? Now, just for the sake of practicing, I'm going to make sure I have my helmet color selected because this team doesn't really use red. So I'm going to make sure my helmet color layer is selected. I'm going to click on the color red, and I'm just going to change this. We'll just make it black for the sake of this video. And there we go. I've got my logos. I've got a white stripe, which is on the single wide layer. And then I've got my helmet color is black. So then all I need to do is File, Export as, and I'll just export it as helmet right now. Actually, I'll do MS for Michael's State. There we go. Export that. That's going to export into the file that I just downloaded. And we'll be good to go from there. So, to get that into a game, we are going to have to open up the game, and we'll get into that here in a second. So, with this team you can see here, this is a team that I made for my fictional professional league. This is all text mod I keep saying text mod. That's from the old, like I said, that's from the old Madden on PC days. This is just texture replacement in general, just built right into the PCSX. So here's all the files. You can see that they have the addresses that I used for editing. Here's the current helmet file. You can see it's the white helmet with the red and blue PB on it. And there's the pants, hip. This is an old helmet that we used in the past, but I updated it. There's the jersey. Oh, that's actually the old jersey. I don't even know where the jersey is. Oh, here it is. So anyway, getting back to our project here, I open up this helmet, or not, I don't even open it. I just copy the helmet or cut the helmet from the place that we saved it originally. I'm just going to paste it in here with the rest of my uniform, and I'll take the address from the current helmet that's being used in game and just replace it with AAA. I wouldn't do that for like the actual game, but just for this demonstration. And I'll replace the address onto the helmet with the that we just worked on. So all I'll do here is go back to the game. I'll do FN and 8 or F8 to, oops, that's the wrong one. FN and F9 to change the rendering mode, and there you can see there's the helmet that we just made. It's the black helmet with the black or the blue logo and the white stripe. That's just an example of how to do that. Okay, you can see that there's no warping there because we kept the logo inside the logo guide on the texture editing thing in GIMP. So we got the logo there, we're all good to go. And that was pretty much it. Now, really quick, like I said, I wanted to go over how to do the jersey editing stuff just for the sake of doing it. Now, the jersey has two parts to it. It's got the jersey file and the sleeves. We'll go ahead and we'll open up the jersey, and we'll open up the sleeves, and we'll just do a really quick example here. This is more focused on just getting the colors so that they're not... basically, if I color over this background image, like a lot of people probably would do, you can see that where the dots on the jersey are, like where the mesh is, it gets destroyed when you basically color over it in any color. So black, red would get rid of it as well. Any color that you color over it with would get rid of those, the mesh, the texture on the jersey. So the nice thing about this template that I am linking to you guys is that it also has this Pro Combat layer, which makes the jerseys look more modern. And there might even be other jersey templates out there, but this is just one that I'm familiar with that I've used a long time ago. And I just wanted to pass it on to you all. So to do this, just make sure that the color layer is selected. And when you do that, you can see that the jersey texture underneath still stays there. But you're just coloring in basically a layer over top of it. But yeah, it's pretty easy. The color layer here, just make sure you're coloring that instead of the actual jersey layer itself, because that will help you to, or that'll keep the color over top of the jersey. These templates, like I said, you can select by color, can go down here to the color layer, and we'll make this black just because, and there we go. So the thing about using the color black, though, is if you're going to make a black jersey, you can't use like pitch black, like down here in the bottom left-hand corner. You need to use a lighter shade of black. So when I color in this jersey, color layer selected. When I color in this jersey with this not as black version of black, you can see that there's the black version here, which is darker, and then this version here, which isn't as dark. If I colored everything in with that darkest version of black, it would basically wash out all the jersey texture anyway, and you wouldn't be able to tell that the jersey texture is there. So anyway, I'll get back to this here. I'll export my jersey. I'm just going to call it jersey like I said. Put right there, export, and then here it is, jersey, Control X, and I'll just paste it into here with my my fictional team again. And I'll take the jersey here. Now, since I didn't edit the sleeve, all right, sorry, my recording got a little goofed up there, but since I didn't edit the sleeve, like I said, we've got the blue sleeve on there with the red jersey that we just edited. There's the helmet still as it was. But yeah, like I said, you can see the texture, the texture of the jersey itself, like the mesh in the jersey. And you can see the stripes we put on there. Like I said, this uniform looks awful as it is, but this is just an example of how to do the stuff. But that's pretty much it as far as this goes. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time, so the template I use was based off of the template that I recommended that you use from Football Idiot. But I added a lot of things to it over the years, and that's just going to be something that you'll want to get to practice, because that's how I learned it all, just by making my own stuff and trial and error. And if you ever need any help, you feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to help you out. But yeah, that's pretty easy. I enjoyed doing it. Man, I actually spent way more time doing uniforms than playing the actual game, which is kind of crazy to say, but I've been at this for a long time. Like I said, probably since 2011. So yeah, be careful, because you might get hooked on it, because it's actually a lot of fun. Oh, and one more thing I want to talk about here. If you see, this actually screwed me up big time. I didn't realize this was a thing. On the jersey, on the back of the jersey, you can see the name, this RASBY, Raspy or whatever. This is black. This is not the color it should be. It should be white. So here's the actual jersey file. We're going to edit that. So we're going to open that with GIMP. Now, since we exported this as a ping, it's just going to be this one single layer. If I hide the layer, the whole thing's gone. So anyway, what we need to do with this is we need to change the opacity down to about 10, okay? If you're editing the GIMP file with all the different layers, it's not going to work right. You need to edit just the single exported layer of the jersey itself. Anyway, so it's going to look really weird. You're going to think it's not right, but it's actually the way it has to be in the game, which is just bizarre. But anyway, so you're going to overwrite your file, and I would actually make a second file. I'd have a backup version of your file, and I would also keep GIMP saves, XCF files, just in case you want to edit your uniforms later. But anyway, what this is going to do by changing the opacity of the jersey, and I don't know why it's like this, but you see how the name is black right now? If you do FN, F9, for some reason, the opacity of your jersey layer, if it's not at like 10%, the name shows up black, which, like I said, I don't think anybody else mentioned that anywhere on the internet, which I don't know. I didn't see it. I'm not saying I'm like a genius or something. I probably just didn't find it, but that had me so messed up for boy, I don't know, probably a couple of days trying to figure that out. But yeah, so that's an important thing as well. But that's getting a little bit more outside the scope of what you guys are looking for. As far as what we're looking at right now, this is what we wanted to accomplish, so we're good there. Please let me know if you have any other questions, you need any other help. I'll be happy to help out however I can, and I'll be looking forward to the next one. See ya.